I'm honored to talk to you today a little bit about Bicentennial Park. And I want to tell you a little bit about it today, show you some of the bronze work, give you a little insight into what went into creating portions of it, and just hopefully serve as a good introduction to your slate of programs, but also give you the chance to come and see these for yourself. All right, what is the park? The park is really the principal legacy, conceived as the most permanent part of Alabama's 3-year bicentennial celebration that concluded back in 2019. And so the idea for the park to be that sort of lasting legacy was cemented fairly early, and that was something that had been worked on for several years leading up to the bicentennial celebration. Now, we settled on was a park that featured 16 very fine bronze sculptures rendered in high relief, 5 to 6 inch relief. So if you can take your hand and you stretch it as far as you can, and then think about that's the depth of some of these sculptures. So the photos don't do them justice because you lose that perspective. But when you're thinking about the marble sculptures that you see around here, and Craigor's here and he knows, you can do a lot with 6 inches of relief, can't you? So these are really fine pieces. And so these are important moments in Alabama's history. Below those bronzes, on these granite monoliths, we have 2 sort of text panels that both give us a little more information into the era, but then also set that panel into context. And so we knew we could only do 16. That's what we knew as far as the size and everything was going. We knew we could have about 16. And so we took a pared down version of that list to the committee, and what we achieved was more geographic distribution. The other thing that we wanted to do was to interject into it certain lesser known stories. This is Caleb O'Connor. Caleb lives in Tuscaloosa now. He's actually a native of Hawaii. Caleb was given the commission. We worked with Caleb very closely over the 2.5 years. His studio is in Tuscaloosa. We would go to Tuscaloosa. He would come to Montgomery, and we would talk about the form and the scope that the project would take. I will tell you that we in the archives were very cognizant of the fact that Alabama history is littered with oftentimes not very fruitful partnerships between art and history. And so we knew going into it that we had to be open with each other, we had to be frank with each other about what we needed, but we also had to make sure that Caleb was allowed to be the artist that Caleb is and the reason why he was chosen for the project. So the park is open from 6 to 8 year-round. It is well lit. Admission, of course, is free. And there's an app for that, which is not something you get to say about history very often. There's a very good Alabama Bicentennial Park app that you can download that will give you some of that additional content, and you can learn even more about the creation of the panels while you're standing in the park.